Hi, I'm Peter Birch. Welcome to the How-To series, brought to you by Ultimate Reptile Supplies. Today, we're going to make an enclosure just like this for small monitors. Welcome to CrittaCam. So for this particular setup, I've chosen the large URS terrarium. And one of the great things I love about the lids themselves, which we've already had fitted for ourselves here, is the lighting system. They actually have these push-out sections here where you can push them out and put in your lights just like we've got right here. We've actually decided to use the URS ES fittings. So basically it's the ceramic fitting. Ceramic is much better than the plastic because exposure to a lot of heat over a lot of time, the plastic will start to get very brittle and sometimes will even break when you're putting it inside your globes, which is very difficult and very dangerous. They're already hooked up with a plug on the end, which makes them compliant to the Australian standards, which means you're going to be nice and safe. So what we've decided to use is for heating is this URS infrared globes. So basically you've got a heat section. So at one end of the cage you've got heat, which naturally allows the reptile to thermoregulate, which means the animal needs to move towards the heat to increase its metabolism, to digest its food, or in sometimes it will move away from the heat when it needs to cool down. It's allowing the animal to move in and out of those heat zones, which is very important for a reptile. And on this side, we've actually installed a compact fluorescent globe. This is actually a UV section here, which is 5%. Okay, so now we put the lid on. We've installed a thermometer. One probe at the cool end, one probe at the hot end, which is down this side where the heat source is. And we've also installed a microclimate down here where the probe is down at the hot end of the cage, which is keeping the hot end in check. So what you need to do is you actually plug in the heat source into the actual microclimate. That'll keep that heat source within the temperature desired that we need. And for the next thing, we're going to chuck in some sand into this beautiful enclosure. So the sand we're using is the Desert Red URS sand in these big chunky bags, 20 kilos. Bit of a workout, but it's a great product, nice, coarse, and that lovely, brilliant colour. I'm just going to get that on in there now. For a small monitor setup, we're going to use the Ultimate Large Hide Rock. We're going to use the Billabong water bowl, and we're going to use this wonderful skull little feature. We're going to set it all up and get ourselves a little monitor in there. So like always, making sure that any furnishings that go into the enclosure in sand or even in substrate actually touches the bottom of the enclosure. Making sure the hide rock is placed under the heat source because we want the animal to be able to get up on top of there to raise its body temperature. You can also get inside and hide and keep nice and warm. This skull adds a bit of a freakish feel to it, but also allows him to hide in a nice deep water bowl with plenty of nice cool water. Now all that's left is to get the lights running and just double check the temperatures, making sure that our microclimate temperature zone under the hot source is set really well. Using our thermometer to check the cool end and the hot end of the cage is running perfectly just before we put the animals in. Using a tamper-proof screw, I can set the temperature here on the microclimate, making sure the temperature under the hot spot is really hot. And I mean, these guys like it hot, really hot. So we make sure we crank it up nice and high. And I mean, if we get up to about 35 or even 45 degrees under the hot spot there, that's really good for monitors. We just check it with a thermometer, making sure that the cool spot is an area where they can actually retreat and get a lot cooler if they need to. All that we need now is a small monitor. So we're going to put this little wonderful spiny-tailed monitor inside the enclosure. Make sure the enclosure is nice and closed so he doesn't get out. What a happy little chappy.